I'm thinking about this whole idea of coming clean with myself and really starting to get a place in my heart of rest and comfort and appreciation for learning, for having accepted this is what it is. This is what it is. Good morning to each and every one of you. If this is your first time joining us, I'm Coach Ricardo Miller, and I want to thank you. Thank you for joining me this morning. My platform is called Effective Living. I want to help people live their best life. I'm in pursuit of living my best life. Nothing missing, nothing lacking or broken. I want every aspect of my life to come together. I want every aspect of your life to come together. It's never too late. As long as there's life in the body, I want you to do work towards bringing a level of fulfillment to your life beyond that of what you've experienced before. This morning, I want to talk about the subject matter, struggling with self-deception. Struggling with self-deception. Is it possible? Yes, it is. Living effectively requires honesty with yourself. Living effectively requires honesty with yourself. I've had to learn that my best life will only come forward when I'm honest with me. It is possible, though. It is possible to have lived a while and not have been honest with yourself for a while. Man, listen, I'm going to do a session of things that I've literally learned about myself that I didn't always accept. But they are what it is what it is. It is what it is. And I want you to know there is another level on the other side of honesty when it comes to who you are and where you're trying to go. So if you could do me a favor, if you're on Facebook, share this, please. Somebody needs to hear it. Also, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and copy the link and say, let me make sure somebody else watches because I want to help Ricardo Miller get this word out. I'm putting together a mission, a goal that I want to see accomplished in the next 12 months. And I'm going to need your help getting the word out about living life. It is the will of God for you to do well. So getting the word out about living life effectively. We have to learn to face the truth, even when it is uncomfortable. Okay? Don't let self-deception keep you stuck. It is one of the ways to stay stuck. How did I end up stuck, Miller? How did I end up stuck? It's because self-deception. Most people don't even study the concept of self-deception because they don't believe they can deceive themselves. Recognizing your weaknesses, owning your choices, and making the necessary change to have a fulfilling life is only what you can do. That's what you have to do. Recognizing your weakness. I don't have it all together. How many of y'all know that's an honest statement? I don't have it all together. However, there are a lot of people who still live and act like they have it all together. Owning your choices. I made a choice to move to this city. I made a choice to get this job. I own a choice to start this relationship. I own this choice to eat like this. I've owned this choice to stay in bed at the length of time. I have to own the choices that I make. Yeah. Listen, Lord, help me to make better choices. Can I get about 5 of you to declare that this morning? Lord, help me to make better choices. Because while you're making those choices, you have to also own them. Come on, man. I got some points I have to share with you guys this morning before we leave. Okay? Lord, help me to make better choices. Now, you're not going to make better choices if you don't address the elephant in the room. You're not going to make better choices if you don't go where you haven't gone before in regards to dealing with yourself. So I need you to confess it. I need you to declare it. I need you to grab a hold of it. Listen, man, say it right now. Lord, help me to make better choices. Boy, that's a great prayer. That's powerful. Now, this morning, let's dive into this. Jamal, I want to talk about 7 indicators that a person may be struggling with self deception. I don't want to stay on them long, but I'm here to tell you the truth will set you free. The truth will set you free. And you've got to get to the point where you're okay coming clean with you. It may be painful, but you got to get there so you could be delivered. You have to get there so you can become better. A lot of people don't want to do the work. They don't want to even accept the truth. But you got to get to the point where you say, Lord, help me to make better choices. Because in my asking God to help me to make better choices, I have to identify my weaknesses, I have to own my choices, and I have to be willing to make the necessary changes. I have to be willing to make the necessary changes. So this morning, Miss Cynthia, we're dealing with 7 indicators that a person may be struggling with self-deception. Number 1, refusal to accept feedback. Who's going to be writing the notes in the comment section? I know you guys are amazing. Who's going to write this in the comment section? Listen, number 1, refusing to accept feedback. Ooh, ugh. I used to struggle with getting feedback, boy. I didn't want anybody feedback. I used to be all up in my feelings. And so they constantly dismiss or ignore constructive criticism, conceiving that this person is coming against them. You trying to come against me. And so they're convincing themselves that others are wrong, or they lock into a bias. They lock into a bias, Lynette, that they're not going to allow to move. You've got to get to the point where you realize, hey, listen, feedback is necessary for effective living. Someone is seeing how you are showing up in the world, and they're seeing your mistakes, and they can help you to avoid those mistakes. Okay? They can help you to avoid those mistakes. So number 1, be careful. We're talking about struggling with self-deception here. Number 1, refusing to accept feedback. Number 2, selective perception. Selective perception, Miss Jocelyn. This is they only focus on information that supports their belief or action. This person, we're talking about a person who's struggling with self-deception. I pray, Jesus, Lord, help me not to have selective perception. This is where I focus on information that supports my belief or actions while ignoring or distorting the fact that contradicts them. In other words, there's a contradictory fact. Okay, are you seeing the facts? But because what you have is what I call number 2, selective perception. You're not going to go there. You're not going to go there. It's the person who says, you know what, I don't trust people. And so your perception aims towards finding the hole in every argument or every deal when it comes to dealing with people. Selective perception is dangerous. Okay? May the Lord help me to not have selective perception when it comes to living life effectively. May this not be the limiting thing that holds me back from becoming my best self. Okay? Number 3, guys, overconfidence in flawed decision. Overconfidence in flawed decisions. In other words, the decision isn't that good, but you're still overconfident in it. You're like, that's not that good, but you're like extremely overconfident in flawed decision. They believe they are always right, even when the evidence suggests, okay, even when the evidence suggests that their decision or actions are leading to a poor outcome. Even when the evidence suggests that they are wrong, even when the evidence suggests that you're making a mistake, even when the evidence suggests that this is going to be a bad outcome. Overconfidence and flawed decisions. I don't care what I eat. I don't care what I eat. You know, it don't make a difference. I don't care. Something's going to kill me. And then you end up on that bed and you, ooh. You see? Self-deception. You know, no matter how I spend my money. I spend my money how I want to spend my money. Okay. I don't care what people say. You got to really start to examine these broad statements. How have I been living up to this point? That's really what you got to start studying. Study to show yourself, how have I been living up to this point? Number 4, guys, downplaying personal responsibility. Downplaying personal responsibility. This morning, we're talking about 7 indicators that a person may be struggling with self-deception. They conceive themselves, to have it together when they really don't. So they're convinced that external circumstances or others are the cause of their problems, avoiding ownership of their mistakes or shortcoming. Okay? When you find that there are people who are convinced, listen, all of the external circumstances is someone else's fault, all of the external factors, you gotta come up, I made some mistakes, man. I made some mistakes. Lynette, I made some mistakes. Miss Johnson, I made some mistakes. Rosalind, I made some. You gotta come clean. You gotta come clean. You gotta bring this thing out. You know, downplaying personal responsibility is a serious thing. Well, man, it's always somebody else's fault. It's always somebody else's fault. I'm late because, it's somebody else's fault. My situation is the way it is because somebody, at some point, you got to be like, you know what? I made some choices, man, that lead towards these circumstances for playing out the way they are. And here's the deal. I'm coming clean because I don't want to deceive myself to only lie, to believe, only to have selective perception that locks me in to a particular belief. And then because I'm not open for feedback, How many of you have children that you can watch them make mistakes and you'd be like, I can tell you the outcome? How many of you have friends you could watch their behavior and you'd be like, I really can tell you the outcome, but you're not open. You're not open. How many of you have neighbors? How many of you work with people you could really help them if they were open? But downplaying personal responsibility. You are responsible for your life. Boy, what's a strong statement people don't like, Lynette? A strong statement people don't like is nobody's coming to save you. You've got to start with you. You've got to start with you. Somebody said, you know what? If I can only have a life partner, then my life will come together. Guess what? You got to have this commitment to bringing your life together no matter what. And then that works out better with a life partner. If I can only get this particular job, that would make my life. No, if you could be getting your life together and you end up with that job, it'll be a nice partnership. Oh man, if I can only move in that neighborhood, my life will come together. Well, if you would get your life together and you end up moving in that neighborhood, that would be a good combination for next level living. It's not the one thing that you're claiming to be that will get you to the next level. It's you still being responsible if you don't even get anything else. Let's go on. Number 5, man. This is a big one right here. Number 5, maintaining unrealistic belief. Okay? Number 5, maintaining unrealistic belief. Now, there are individuals who hold on to their particular view of themselves. That's just not good. It's not right. It's not the best view to stand on. Their capabilities, their situation, refusing to acknowledge the perception that they gain or lean towards or holding on to, and it's the reality. What is the reality? So maintaining an unrealistic belief. Well, by the end of the year, I would like to be a millionaire. Well, based on how you've been spending your money, making your money, and doing life, what are the chances of you being a millionaire between now and December 31st? It's going to be a very slim chance unless you're trying to play the lottery, right? So very slim chance. Well, you know what? I'm gonna believe. I'm gonna believe. Well, how about starting to believe you can balance your budget? How about starting to believe that you're gonna manage your money better? How about starting to believe you're gonna do right with $100 before you try to believe God to do right with $1 million? You see? I want God to bless me with $1 million, but I don't even manage 1,000 well. Come on, y'all got to give me some praise for that. Come on, give me some shout outs, give me some love or some hearts or something like that. You're not doing well, and yet you're speaking, believing, and not addressing what you're not doing well. So maintaining unrealistic belief. What beliefs that are unrealistic that I'm holding on to that I need to unlearn? This is where that unlearning comes in. I've been believing like this, but that's an unrealistic belief. And I need to work on adjusting that. I don't need to stay living like that. That's not good. It's not been helping me. I'm not in the best place. So go ahead and start looking at this, at your unrealistic beliefs. You know, I'm believing to do this, but your work ethics doesn't say that's going to happen. Your association doesn't say that's going to happen. Shoots. I mean, nothing of what you're trying to do is going to bring about what you're trying to do because you ain't doing the work. Faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. I'm telling the truth. That's what I'm telling. And here's the deal. I have to tell myself this stuff because the truth is, Ricardo, you're not going to go to the next level until you get to address this unrealistic belief position that you have. It's not going to just happen. Somebody need to write that down. It's not going to just happen. It's not. It's not going to just happen. So let's go to number 6. Okay, number 6 is strong, but it's necessary. We're talking this morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about 7 indications that a person may be struggling with self-deception. You got to go back and watch these particular points because this is me versus me. I'm working on me, and this is my pursuit to ensure that I'm not making the same mistakes repeatedly. Number 6. Avoidance of difficult truths. Number 6, avoidance of difficult truths. This individual, they steer clear of conversations or thoughts that can cause exposure to uncomfortable realities about their lives, their behavior, or their relationships. You know, their relationship. It's the person, Miss Cynthia. It is the person, Lynette, that says, I ain't going there. I ain't going there. Don't go there. I'm not going there. You don't need to go there. Okay? And so they stare far away. They stare far away from difficult truths. Okay? They stare far away from difficult truths. I'll be 49 next month, and I'm finding that there are some difficult truths that I have to accept. How many of you can be honest this morning? You're learning that there are some difficult truths you have to accept. There are some difficult truths you have to accept. And so when you start looking at unrealistic beliefs and you start looking at difficult truths that you have to accept, boy, listen, some people just say, I ain't going there. So they turn on the TV and they try to Netflix themselves out of their reality. Some people try to drink themselves out of their reality. Some people try to sleep themselves out of their reality. Some people just try to fake it until they make it. Some people just, how you doing? Blessed and highly favored, man. Listen, you know, above only and not beneath. You know what I mean? The blessing might going out, blessing might coming out. You know, you even ain't feel good about you. You ain't feel good about nothing. Okay? Avoiding difficult truth. You haven't changed. You haven't moved. You haven't come up. You haven't done the work. And you're continuing to avoid difficult truths. Okay? I'm not talking to the choir. I'm talking to myself first. Okay, I am talking to me first. So remind yourself, ladies and gentlemen, I'm working on me. Come on, let's all say that this morning. I'm working on me. This morning, we're talking about this whole concept of struggling with self-deception because we all struggle a little bit with self-deception. But the more you work on being honest with you and these 7 points to ensure that, listen, man, I do a little bit of that. 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 I don't want to stay where I am. So I do a little bit of that. I do a little bit of, I make some excuses. I justify. I avoid difficult truths. Come on. I have unrealistic beliefs that are the foundation for my life. I've been downplaying personal responsibility. It's just going to happen. It's not going to just happen if you're not taking responsibility for your actions. Last but not least is distorting past events. Distorting past event. These individuals have rewritten or reinterpret past experience to fit a narrative that supports their self-image rather than accepting what really happened. Okay? Rather than what really happened. Distorting past events. In other words, when you're finished, you look back at past events and you made it 100% their fault. Okay? You look back and you made it everything else. It's the neighborhood's fault. It's the government's fault. It's it's my boss' fault. It's my neighbor's fault. It's just distorting past events. You look back and you say, well, you got to ask yourself, what did I do? What did I do in participating in that of what occurred? How did I play a role? I remember looking back at my life and I realized I had some bumps in the road, some issues that I'm not proud of. I went through some really difficult time. And I started looking at, okay, Ricardo, what could you have done better? Okay, where did you make mistakes? Rather than trying to build a narrative, okay, rewriting or reinterpreting past experience to fit my narrow position. Okay, so the possibility there is that you're trying to make it out to be what you want it to be rather than just accepting it for what it was. Okay, I wasn't always who I am. I was talking to a friend yesterday as I closed this talk up, and I was talking to him, and he said, Miller, you're so much of a better guy today than you were, huh? He said, well, aren't you so much of I said, I'm 100% better guy than I was. Even though I hate what I went through, I am better for it. Because along the way, I discovered me. Along the way, I made a commitment to not self-deceive myself. Don't put yourself in a place to where you end up holding on to these particular positions that will limit you from becoming the person God has created you to be. So I ain't trying to comfort nobody. I'm simply trying to remind you, I got to remind me, I got to do what God's called me to do is help people to be free. Help people to be free. Listen, you can live a lie a long time. Okay, and that's because you've distorted past events, rewriting and reinterpreting them. Watch this, to fit your narrative. To fit your narrative. Like it's like if you tell a lie long enough, you'll start to believe it. How many of you have heard that before? If you tell a lie long enough, you'll start to believe it. And so for me, as a life coach, I'm pushing people to even go where they would normally go so that it's not a lie. It is what it is. It is what it is, but it won't always be what it is because I'm doing the work. Hello? I'm doing the work. Write this down for me. It is what it is, but it won't always be that way. Can I get about 5 of you to declare that this morning? It is what it is, but it won't always be that way. God bless you guys. I'll see you back here tomorrow, same time, as we continue this talk on self-deception. It's real. May the Lord help us all. God bless you. Bye-bye.